Before we talk about fixing a life, let's be honest about how it quietly unravels, not with one dramatic collapse, just drift. A few distracted mornings, a few promises pushed to later. We swap rooms, apps, even cities, hoping a new setting will do what an old mindset wouldn't. Stoicism offers a humbler door. Don't outrun your life, return to it. Return to what you can control, to the next honest action, to the calm center you already carry. If you're walking, commuting, or folding laundry, good. This is for real life. 10 practices you can use today, each small enough to execute and strong enough to shift your direction. If any of this helps, it won't be because it sounded smart. It'll be because you turned an idea into a decision. Let's start where every other change becomes possible. Attention. 1. Train your concentration. Attention is the steering wheel of your life. Where it points, you go. In a world engineered to monetize your mind, distraction isn't a moral failure. It's predictable. The Stoic move isn't shame, it's skill. Create a pause you can keep. One breath in through the nose, a longer breath out. Name what's happening. Craving novelty, avoiding discomfort, checking for reassurance. Naming lowers the volume, and lowered volume makes room for choice. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Strength here is the quiet ability to return, again and again, to what matters now. Keep the practice humble so your brain says yes. If it's 7 p.m., then I sit and give 10 honest minutes to one meaningful task. Set a plain timer. Put the phone in another room like you'd store a loud instrument before sleep. Close the extra tabs in one sweep. Begin with a single sentence that sets your aim. For 10 minutes, I outline the intro. Don't wait for a perfect mood. Create one by beginning. When distraction shows up, and it will, don't wrestle it. Label it softly, thinking, planning, remembering. Then escort your attention back to the next sentence or keystroke. That escort is your rep. Reps build strength. Picture a cold evening on the frontier. Marcus Aurelius, traveling with the army, opens his journal by lamplight and writes a few lines before duty calls. No grand ritual, no perfect conditions, just steady returns. One breath, one line, return. That's how Meditations was born, not as polished essays, but as honest repetitions. Borrow the method tonight. When your mind drifts, let the drift be the cue, not the excuse. You notice it, name it, and come back to the one move in front of you. Design your space to help you win by default. Clear the desk until it invites work. Use sound without lyrics if you need a bed of noise. Keep water within reach. Dehydration quietly drags attention down. End your block on a small win, even if momentum rises. Teach your nervous system to look forward to returning. On heavy days, lower the target to 5 clean minutes and protect them like a meeting with someone you respect. Consistency beats intensity because it shapes identity. You're becoming the person who can direct attention on command during a hard conversation, under a deadline, at the moment you'd usually numb out. Do it once tonight. If it's 7 p.m., then I sit, start the timer, and give one task my full attention for 10 minutes. When the urge to check hits, I smile, say thinking, and return. Listen for the quiet click when control returns to your hands. No fireworks, just dignity. And that's enough to change the direction of a day. 2. Build a strong body and a resilient mind. Your mind borrows your body's chemistry to make choices. When you're underslept, stiff, and buzzing on random stimulation, thoughts feel heavier and emotions hit harder. Training the body isn't vanity, it's emotional infrastructure. Seneca said, "The body should be treated more rigorously so that it may not be disobedient to the mind." He wasn't preaching punishment, he was pointing to a simple truth. A steadier body gives your mind a wider space to stay calm, think clearly, and choose well. Start with what your day can actually hold. 15 minutes is enough to tilt the whole system. Step outside right after waking. Even 2 minutes of natural light and easy walking tell your brain, we're awake, we're safe, we can focus. Then rotate through 4 honest movements. Push, pull, squat, and plank. 10 slow push-ups, against a wall or table if needed. 10 hip hinge pulls, band, towel row, or backpack. 10 controlled squats to a chair, a 30-second plank. Rest a breath or two and repeat. Move deliberately, breathe through your nose if you can, and end with 1 minute of easy walking. It isn't impressive, it's repeatable, and repeatable wins. Notice what happens in the hours after a simple session like this. Rumination loosens, your patience stretches. Decisions feel less dramatic because your nervous system isn't blaring a constant alarm. You still feel things, of course, but they don't own the room. That's resilience, carrying strong feelings without letting them drive. Imagine Epictetus, once a slave, later a teacher, reminding his students that freedom starts with what you do inside your own constraints. He didn't wait for ideal conditions. He practiced stability within the life he had. Think of your short session the same way, a daily proof that you can do a small, non-negotiable thing, even when mood and weather argue against it. That proof quietly rewires how you see yourself, not as someone who tries to be healthy, but as someone who keeps promises under real conditions. Design the environment so you win by default. Keep a resistance band by your desk, shoes by the door, a water bottle filled. Reduce friction and you'll start before excuses organize. On chaotic days, lower the bar shamelessly. 5 minutes beats 0. 1 round between calls, 1 brisk walk after lunch, a plank while the kettle boils. Identity grows from kept promises, not heroic bursts. A small example, you come home fried, and the old loop whispers, sit, scroll, snack. New loop, drop your bag, set the phone to charge out of reach, step outside for 2 minutes of sky, then 1 round. Push, pull, squat, plank. Total time, under 10 minutes. You return steadier, less at the mercy of the evening. Nothing cinematic, just a pulse that no longer yanks your thoughts around. Make it automatic with a single rule you can say out loud. If it's 6:30 a.m., or right after my coffee, then I step outside for 2 minutes, drink water, and do my 15-minute anchor. Push, pull, squat, plank. 2 rounds, then 1 minute of relaxed breathing. If I miss the morning, I do 1 round before dinner. No debate. The goal isn't to impress anyone. The goal is to be available to your work, your people, and your better judgment. You'll know it's working when ordinary stress feels more carryable and your mind answers provocation with steadiness instead of spikes. A stronger frame doesn't solve life, but it lets you live it with a clearer head. 3. Change your attitude, not your location. It's comforting to believe peace lives somewhere else, after a move, a new job, a fresh start. But if the same mind comes with you, the same patterns unpack first. Seneca said it straight. You need a change of soul more than a change of sky. You can repaint the room, switch cities, buy the new notebook. If the lens stays smudged, the view won't sharpen. Stoicism doesn't shame the urge to escape. It just asks whether escape is solving the cause or only changing the scenery. Notice the loop. You leave a team because the manager felt suffocating. For 2 weeks, air returns. Then familiar restlessness. Emails read colder. Meetings feel like traps. Deadlines pinch the same nerve. Different building, same storm. What actually followed you? A habit of reading threat into neutral signals. A story that says, I'm one step behind and people are against me. The fix isn't to run faster. It's to reclaim authorship of the story while standing still. Start with one recurring annoyance and turn it into training. The commute that spikes your frustration becomes a lab for agency. Slower breathing. A podcast that steadies you. A single thought reworded from I'm stuck to I'm practicing patience. The colleague whose tone hooks you becomes a cue for curiosity. What else could this mean? One clarifying question sent calmly often dissolves a conflict you were ready to carry into a new office. You're not pretending things are fine. You're refusing to hand your mood to the loudest moment. A brief human scene. Viktor Frankl, imprisoned, watched men choose, within brutal limits, how to meet each day. He wrote later that everything can be taken from a person but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Your life is gentler than his, but the principle travels. When you can't change the outer, you aim at the inner. That choice doesn't fix everything. It restores the part of you that can act. Build a small posture you can hold anywhere. Shoulders down, jaw unclenched. One longer exhale. Name the feeling without fusing with it. Irritated, anxious, defensive. Then ask one clean question. What outcome do I want an hour from now? That question shifts you from reacting to steering. If the outcome is clarity, your move is a calm ask for specifics. If the outcome is respect, your move is a boundary stated without a threat. You will still make external changes when needed. You'll just make them from steadiness, not from flight. Design for in-place sovereignty. Keep a grounding kit that travels, a phrase that recenters you. I can be okay while this is unresolved. A 2-minute walk, a note page titled Facts vs. Story. When you feel the I'll be fine when sentence forming, catch it. Replace it with I can be fine while, and do one small thing that improves the present moment. Send the draft, tidy the desk, step outside for light. Ownership shrinks problems to a size you can carry. Make it automatic with a single rule. If I catch myself thinking, I'll feel better when I'm somewhere else, then I pause for one slow breath. Write the outcome I want 1 hour from now and take one action that serves that outcome here before I consider changing environments. You'll know it's working when the room feels less like a trap and more like a gym, a place to practice being the person you're trying to become. 4. Free yourself from bad habits. Bad habits aren't proof that you're broken. They're proof that your brain learned fast shortcuts that once soothed you. You scroll to avoid a feeling. You snack to soften stress. You postpone to dodge the risk of failing in public. The Stoic problem isn't having impulses. It's letting impulses run your schedule. Freedom starts when you stop moralizing the loop and start redesigning it. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery here isn't drama, it's structure. Begin with one habit, not all of them. Name it plainly and run a tiny audit. When does it happen? What sets it off? And what quick reward it gives you? Trigger arrow behavior, arrow reward. That's the engine. You don't smash the engine, you re-gear it. Make the old cue lead to a better move that still pays you something. If late-night doom scrolling helps you not feel, give yourself a gentler not feel that doesn't steal tomorrow. 10 pages of a book, a hot shower, a short stretch with the phone charging out of reach. You keep the comfort while removing the cost. Friction is your quiet ally. Put the obstacle before the old behavior and the path of least resistance before the new one. If the couch breeds mindless snacking, keep fruit eye level and the junk one cabinet higher than laziness can reach. If procrastination blooms when the task looks huge, shrink it to the first 2-minute action you could do even on a bad day. Open the doc and title it. Assemble the tools on the table. Write the first awkward sentence. Your brain respects easy beginnings. Expect lapses and script the recovery in advance. The real trap isn't the slip, it's the spiral. I broke the rule, so the day is ruined. Give yourself a one-line reset. I'm back now. Then do the smallest repair. Close the app, stand and drink water. Take 10 slow breaths by the window. Returning quickly is the habit inside the habit. It turns a bad minute into a neutral hour instead of a lost night. Seneca reminds us, no man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. A slip is not a verdict. It's a chance to prove your return. A human scene. You get home fried from a long day. Old loop, shoes off, couch, phone, an hour disappears. Later, you hate the fog you just purchased. New loop, bag down, phone on the kitchen counter to charge. 2 minutes of sky out the door, then 1 round of push-pull squat plank or a walk around the block. 10 minutes later, you're calmer, not saintly, just steadier, and the evening hasn't been pre-sold to autopilot. The win is small, but the identity signal is loud. I can choose in the moment that used to choose for me. Track evidence where your nervous system can see it. A paper calendar, a simple tally, a jar that gets 1 coin for every successful swap. Visible proof beats vague intention, and when the inner prosecutor shows up to argue, you'll always be this way. Put that voice to work. List 3 specific improvements I can make in 2 minutes. Critics get quieter when they're given a job. Make it automatic with 1 rule you can say out loud. If it's 9:30 p.m., then my phone goes to charge outside the bedroom. I set a cheap alarm, and I do a 10-minute wind down, 2 pages of reading or a short stretch, before lights out. No debate. You're not trying to kill a habit with willpower. You're starving it while feeding a better loop until the old one forgets your name. You'll feel this working when tomorrow morning stops paying the price for tonight. That reclaimed energy is what you'll use to make cleaner choices, especially when emotions run hot and you need reason to lead. 5. Decide with reason, not emotion. Feelings are fast. They're the brain's first responders. They scan for threat, shout instructions, and mean well even when they make a mess. Reason is slower, but it sees farther. The Stoic goal isn't to shut feelings down. It's to give them a capable driver. Epictetus said it cleanly. It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. The judgment is the switch. When you own the switch, the same situation can lead to a better next move. Start in the hottest moment, the text that stings, the comment that twists your stomach, the craving to quit when the work gets hard. Give yourself a pause you can actually keep. 1 slow breath in through the nose, 1 longer breath out. Then a 1-word label for the feeling: angry, anxious, ashamed, jealous. Labeling isn't therapy speak, it's a brake pedal. The nervous system cools just enough for a second question to land. What outcome do I want 1 hour from now? That simple future anchor yanks you out of the courtroom in your head and into strategy. Now choose your principle. Pick 1 word you respect: truth, respect, courage, clarity, and let it steer the next sentence or action you take. If you want clarity, You ask a calm question instead of firing a clever accusation. If you want respect, you set a boundary without a threat. If you want progress, you propose one small next step rather than replaying old blame. Reason isn't cold here, it's care with a longer time horizon. You're protecting the person you'll be tonight and tomorrow, not gratifying a spike that lasts 30 seconds. A brief scene to make this human. Seneca wrote letters to friends who were constantly jostled by court politics and rumor. His advice was almost boring in its practicality. Separate what you know from what you're inventing. Try it on paper. Left column, facts I can verify. Right column, stories I'm telling. Facts survive questions. Stories change under light. Many conflicts shrink when you see how much of the fire came from the gasoline of your interpretation. Tools help when the room gets loud. Keep a tiny note on your phone called Cool Head. 3 lines only. 1. What outcome do I want in an hour? 2. My value word. 3. My fallback action. Drink water, step outside, draft, but don't send. When your heart rate spikes, open that note and run the script. That's not weakness, that's design. Strong people make good choices easy to start when emotion is high. For decisions that aren't charged but feel foggy, career, money, relationships, run a reversible test. Define 2 small actions that would move different options forward without burning bridges. Do one this week. Action gives you data. Data calms rumination. Calm improves judgment. Thinking by itself can only argue. Doing lets reality answer. Make it automatic with one rule. If I feel a strong emotion while deciding, then I take one long exhale, name the feeling in one word, write the outcome I want in one sentence, and choose the smallest action that serves that outcome and aligns with my value word. If the decision is irreversible, I delay sending or committing until I've walked for 2 minutes or read the draft aloud once. This is how you keep both hands on the wheel while the weather passes. You'll know it's working when familiar dramas shrink to manageable size and your evenings don't have to repair what noon exploded. Emotion keeps its color, reason keeps the map, and the day keeps moving in a direction you can respect. 6. Focus on taking action. You don't need more time, you need less hesitation. Most procrastination isn't laziness, it's overthinking wearing a responsible mask. The mind demands certainty before it moves, the perfect plan, the right mood, a guarantee of praise. But action is how you earn those things. As Marcus Aurelius put it, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Move first, then let reality teach you. Replace, am I ready, with, what's the next visible move I can do in 2 minutes? Start with a human scene. The draft has been open for a week. You keep organizing your notes, waiting for a brilliant opening to arrive like weather. It won't. But the moment your fingers type a clumsy first sentence, the fog turns into shapes you can edit. Action converts mystery into feedback. Thinking alone can only argue. Doing lets the world answer. Often the answer is kinder than your fears. Shrink the target until the only honest response is yes. Don't start the project. Start a timer. 2 minutes. In that window, take a first-inch step. Title the file. Sketch 3 subpoints. Paste the references. Or write one ugly paragraph you promise not to judge yet. When the timer ends, stop, even if you feel momentum. Ending on a win trains your brain to want another round tomorrow. Momentum isn't muscling through, it's designing the mind to crave return. Clear the hidden frictions that stall you. Put the file on your desktop. not inside 6 folders. Keep tools where the task lives. Notebook on the table, shoes by the door, resistance band by the chair. Pre-decide the opening move the night before in one plain line. At 8 a.m., I outline 3 bullets. Make beginnings automatic, so your courage is only needed for the second minute, not the first. When fear grows loud, let the body go first. Stand, walk 30 steps, breathe in for 4, out for 6. Then do the smallest piece you can complete without help. You're teaching your nervous system a new rule. Fear can ride along, but it doesn't touch the controls. Over days, the distance between intention and movement shrinks. Confidence lives in that shrinking distance. Consider Marie Curie working in a drafty shed, stirring heavy vats by hand, logging small repeated trials that seemed trivial alone but decisive in sequence. No perfect conditions, just honest inches, repeated. The lesson isn't romance about hardship, it's respect for small, consistent movement that compounds into breakthroughs you can't plan in your head. Make it automatic with one rule you can say out loud. If it's the top of the hour and I'm stuck, then I start a 2-minute timer and complete one first-inch action. Title the file, list 3 steps, or write the opening line. When the timer ends, I either stop on a win or set a fresh 10-minute block and continue. This keeps you moving without needing to feel inspired, and it builds a daily identity that doesn't negotiate with drift. You'll know it's working when evenings feel lighter, not because everything is done, but because something real is moving. Action doesn't guarantee success, but it guarantees information. And information is how you steer toward better choices, including how you measure your worth when no one's clapping. 7. Create your own value. If applause is your compass, you'll walk in circles. External approval is useful data, but it's bad oxygen. You can't breathe on it for long. Stoicism points you back to a steadier source. Judge yourself by the quality of your actions, not the volume of other people's reactions. Marcus Aurelius saw the trap clearly. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Flip that. Care first about doing a thing well by your own standard. Then use feedback to learn, not to live. Watch what happens right after you do something that matters. You publish, then you refresh. You speak, then you scan faces. That loop trains your nervous system to outsource worth. The fix isn't to stop caring. It's to care in order. Choose one arena today, your craft, your training, the way you show up for someone, and write a single standard in plain words. I measure this by whether I did the work I said I would, at the quality I promised myself. That line is a boundary between self-respect and performance theatre. A brief human scene to make this real. Beethoven, already losing his hearing, kept composing music that many around him didn't understand at first. The late quartets sounded strange to ears trained on earlier forms. He wasn't chasing cheers. He was answering an inner demand for integrity in the work itself. Praise eventually came, but the work didn't depend on it to be worth doing. That's the posture. Build from the inside out. Let time and truth do their slow sorting. Design your day so intrinsic value becomes automatic. Hide public metrics during work blocks. Batch checks to once or twice a day. When praise arrives, say thank you and capture what specifically works so you can repeat it. When criticism arrives, separate tone from truth. Extract one precise improvement and ignore the rest. A mind that knows its own standard can bend without breaking. 2 metaphors to hold on to. Think of your worth like the weight of a stone, steady regardless of wind, and your standards like a compass that still points north, even if the weather is loud. Give yourself a ritual that retrains the reward system. Keep a private scoreboard on paper where you mark only what you controlled: minutes of deep work, target reps, promise kept, paragraph improved. The sight of honest ticks builds a quiet satisfaction that algorithms can't counterfeit. Over a week, that page becomes a mirror that doesn't lie, and you'll start to crave the act itself, not the applause after it. Make it automatic with one rule you can say out loud: if I finish a meaningful task, then I first record one controlled metric on my private scoreboard: time on task, quality step completed, standard upheld, before I check any public response. Only after I honor the work do I open the door to feedback. This rewires the sequence: identity first, opinion second. Over time, you'll feel a solidity that doesn't swing with the crowd. Opportunities will come and go, opinions will tilt, algorithms will change, and you'll still be doing the next honest inch of work. 8. Stop trying to be perfect. Focus on progressing. Perfection is a moving target that keeps you standing still. You wait for the flawless plan, the flawless mood, the flawless version of you, and the day ends with nothing built. Progress is humbler and far more honest. Do one imperfect thing that moves the work forward. Epictetus gives you permission to be seen in motion. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. He wasn't praising ignorance. He was freeing you from the fear of early, ugly attempts. Being seen in progress is not humiliation. It's the toll you pay for growth. Look closely at what perfectionism protects: image. If you delay, you can't be judged. But the fee you pay for that safety is time, and time is the only currency you can't refund. So we flip the contract. Instead of asking, "Is this ideal?" you ask, "Is this useful today?" Useful beats ideal because useful compounds. A rough email sent, a paragraph drafted, a first set finished. Each one closes a loop and returns energy to your system. The brain hates open loops. Progress calms the noise. Make progress concrete and small enough to say yes to. Define the minimum that counts as a win before you start. One email shipped, one paragraph improved, one set completed, 15 focused minutes logged. Then honor the win. Don't move the goalpost at the buzzer. When you end on a clean finish, your nervous system learns to crave return. That craving is momentum, discipline's quieter cousin, a brief human scene. Michelangelo spent years chipping at stubborn stone, leaving works half-formed, rough limbs emerging, edges unresolved. Those non-finito pieces weren't failures. They were evidence of process, revealing the method that produced the masterpieces. You don't owe the world pristine marble every time. You owe it honest chips in the right direction. The statue emerges by subtraction you're willing to show. When the inner critic starts its courtroom, put it to work. Ask for 3 specific observable improvements you can complete today. Critics get quieter when they're carrying bricks. And protect your runway with design. Keep the file on your desktop. Template the first 3 lines. Leave your tools set up. Reduce the clicks between you and the task. Progress is a logistics problem as much as a courage problem. Use a simple if-then to break the spell of hesitation. If it's the top of the hour and I'm stalling, then I start a 2-minute timer and do one first-inch move. Write the opening line, list 3 sub-steps, or export the draft file. When the timer ends, either stop on a win or set a fresh 10-minute block. Small, repeatable beginnings teach your brain that movement is safe, and once you're moving, clarity often follows. As Seneca reminds us, while we wait for life, life passes. We don't wait anymore. We start, we learn, we adjust. You'll feel this working when evenings carry a lighter air. Not because perfection arrived, but because something living moved forward. The day closes with proof, not promises. And once you're practiced at imperfect motion, you're ready for the kind of discomfort you choose on purpose. The training ground that expands what you can carry. 9. Seek voluntary challenges. Comfort is a beautiful place to rest and a terrible place to live. If you never choose difficult things, life will choose them for you, and you'll meet them untrained. Stoicism treats discomfort as a gym for the soul. Small, deliberate challenges that expand your capacity before the world demands it. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." He wasn't romanticizing suffering, he was recommending practice. When you rehearse strain in controlled doses, real stress feels more carryable. You learn that the feeling of "I can't" is often just your threshold introducing itself. Start with challenges that are safe, brief, and clear. Walk the errand you'd usually drive. Take the stairs when you're tempted by the elevator. Wake 30 minutes earlier for a quiet block of deep work before the day gets loud. Do the first minute of a cold rinse at the end of your shower. Eat a simple, planned meal when your mood screams for sugar. Have the uncomfortable conversation you've postponed. One calm sentence that tells the truth without a scene. Don't chase heroics. Train edges. Each small win sends the same signal to your nervous system. We can feel this and still choose well. Make the challenge tie directly to a skill you care about. If your attention scatters, do 10 minutes of device-free work in a public place. If you avoid conflict, ask one clarifying question in a tense meeting and stop there. If you fear judgment, share an honest draft with one trusted person and request a single concrete critique. The goal isn't to suffer, it's to gain range. A musician who only practices easy notes never finds their tone under pressure. You're practicing your tone. A human scene. Admiral William McRaven, long after his SEAL days, still preaches the power of small, disciplined strain. Make your bed. Choose the hard right over the easy wrong. Build resilience by doing one uncomfortable thing early, so the rest of the day can't bully you. He didn't become unshakable by waiting for smooth seas. He trained in rough water until balance felt normal. Your life is gentler, but the physics are the same. Stability follows repetition. Track results in feelings, not just checkboxes. After each voluntary challenge, ask, did my fear shrink? Did my respect for myself grow? Did my world get bigger by one notch? You'll notice a quiet confidence that doesn't need an audience. The next time anxiety spikes, your body remembers, we've visited this sensation and survived. Design the week so strain is scheduled, not accidental. Pick 3 micro-challenges that fit your life. 1 physical, finish the short workout when you want to stop. 1 mental, 10 minutes of focus without switching. 1 social, 1 honest message you've been avoiding. Put them on the calendar like appointments. Consistency matters more than intensity because identity is what we're building. You're becoming the person who moves toward what matters, even when it's not comfortable. Make it automatic with one clear rule. If it's morning, then I choose 1 small, safe, voluntary challenge I can finish in under 10 minutes. Walk the longer route, cold rinse for 60 seconds, or send the honest text. And when I finish, I name the win out loud. You're teaching your brain that discomfort is a doorway, not a wall. You'll know it's working when setbacks feel less like emergencies and more like workouts. Hard, yes, but familiar. And once you can meet hard moments without panic, you're ready for the practice that frees the most energy of all, releasing what you're carrying against other people. 10. Practice forgiveness tirelessly. Resentment is a heavy tax on a life you still have to live. It keeps your nervous system on constant alert, replays the scene, and charges interest every time you remember. Forgiveness isn't surrender, and it isn't amnesia. It's disciplined energy management. You take the pain seriously, and then you refuse to carry it forever. Marcus Aurelius offers the clearest target. The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy. In other words, you don't mirror the harm. You choose a higher standard and protect your future from yesterday's weather. Start by separating 3 things most of us blur: harm, justice, and freedom. Harm is what happened. Justice is the process. Boundaries, consequences, repair where possible. Freedom is what you reclaim, so the harm doesn't own your next decade. Forgiveness lives in that 3rd bucket. You can still set boundaries, go to court, or cut contact. You can still say, "This was wrong." Forgiveness means you stop rehearsing the story as your identity. You trade the satisfying heat of blame for the quieter relief of peace. A brief, human scene. A friend betrayed a confidence. The old loop keeps replaying the conversation, collecting evidence, telling you who they are and who you are now. New loop. You write exactly what was violated and what boundary protects you going forward. I won't discuss personal matters with them. I'll keep interactions polite and minimal. You don't send a dramatic message. You act on the boundary. Then you run a short release ritual. 1 minute of breathing, then a sentence said aloud. I won't let this wound decide the tone of my day. No fireworks, just a small controllable shift back toward your own life. The Stoics help with the inner narrative. Epictetus reminds us that other people's actions belong to them. Your judgments and choices belong to you. When the mind shouts unfair, you agree, and then you ask the next Stoic question, what's under my control right now? Often it's a single boundary, a single refusal to rehearse, a single compassionate act aimed at yourself. Forgiveness is clarity in action, less rumination, more protection, more building. Design for release the way you design for work. Keep a facts versus story page for painful events. Facts, 1 or 2 lines, no adjectives. Story, everything your mind adds. Then add a 3rd line, lesson and boundary. Close the page. The brain loves loops. Closing one calmly is how you stop paying emotional rent. And remember that forgiveness is a process. Some days the old heat will rise. That's not failure. It's another rep. Make it automatic with one rule. If I catch myself replaying a hurt, then I take 1 long exhale, name the feeling in 1 word, write 1 boundary or lesson in a single sentence, and spend 2 minutes in a release practice. Slow breathing, a short prayer, or writing an unsent note, I'll tear up. If action is required, apology asked, legal step, no contact, I schedule it on the spot. If not, I return my attention to 1 constructive task I care about. I honor the pain, protect myself, and then choose to move. You'll know it's working when the story loses volume and your day regains color. Forgiveness won't make the past pretty, it will make the present useful, and when your hands are free again, you can build something worthy with them. You don't need a new life. You need a new way of meeting the one you have, 1 honest action at a time. If you've listened this far, you've already practiced the most important skill, staying with yourself. That's the quiet thread running through everything we just explored. Attention that returns, a body that supports a steadier mind, an attitude that travels well, habits designed instead of denied, choices guided by reason, movement before perfection, value built from the inside out, small challenges chosen on purpose, and a forgiveness that frees your hands to build. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one swap good with whatever you're chasing, calm, focused, resilient, and let your day answer. Pick one, if. Then you can keep tonight. If it's 7 p.m., then 10 focused minutes on the next real task. If it's morning, then 2 minutes of light and a simple circuit. If a strong emotion hits, then one long exhale, one word to name it, one sentence to define the outcome you want an hour from now. Make it small enough that your brain says yes, and make it real enough that your life can feel it. You'll notice the difference in details. Fewer sloppy mistakes, kinder decisions, less time sold to autopilot. Progress won't arrive like a parade. It will arrive like a click, barely audible, but you'll feel the steering wheel back in your hands. Let the scoreboard you keep be private and simple. Time on task, promise kept, boundary honored. When praise comes, say thank you. When it doesn't, keep going. When criticism lands, extract the improvement and leave the venom. None of this is flashy, and that's the point. Flash burns out. Practice compounds. You are not behind. You are exactly where practice begins. If any part of this lands, don't make a speech to yourself. Do a representative, then another tomorrow. Give it a week of small, kept promises, and see if your world doesn't feel one notch clearer, one notch lighter, one notch more yours. And maybe that's all life is asking from us. Not perfection, but direction. Not performances, but practices that quietly make us trustworthy to ourselves.